So welcome to my first video, I guess ever. Well, not ever, but my first official YouTube video about what I do. Gotta get some stuff done in this car. Gotta install a radio. Need to put the LED lights on. Gotta mail out a bill of sale. And then just get going with the day. So I'm gonna take you along so you can kind of see what I do. So the radio that's getting installed will be into this guy. This is a 1999 Mitsubishi Toppo BJ. Yeah, it's the real name, don't question it. I think it's kind of an interesting name. This one's got 88,675,000 kilometers. For some reason these didn't come with the ability to do a double din radio. They did come with cup holders, which is pretty cool. So you can put your cups in there. And then for now, normally when I pick up cars at the port in general, or whenever I get a car from Japan, they only go to their FM, which is I think the highest is like 907 or something like that. So they don't work all that well. So I usually just use an FM transmitter. But anyways, too much talking. Let's get going and let's do what we got to do. All right, cool. Well, let's talk a quick second. Okay, so my name's David. I import cars from Japan, but I like to do a lot of crazy things. I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel, I think, for the longest time, but never really had her. I don't like talking to the camera. I think it's weird. I think it's a bit narcissistic, but here I am doing it, which is even weirder. Anyway, so I'm trying this whole thing out because I have realized that I have kind of like this wealth of knowledge that other people think is cool, and so if I can do something with it and share it with the world, I will. You might see my, I don't know if I'm putting this in my current channel that I have or if I'm gonna make a separate channel or whatever, but I have like a video on how to register a school bus in Vermont, which that has changed now, and then also how to like register a car without a title in Oregon. So there's a ton of different things. I actually built a schoolie, a 40-foot school bus. I'll put a picture of it somewhere here if I figure out how to edit this. And we traveled the world for about a year. Or the world. We traveled the U.S. with it for about a year, and then we were having another kid, and so we decided, hey, let's just sell it. So we got rid of it, and now kind of here we are back in Connecticut. We were living in Oregon, but stumbled upon these imports, and I wanted a K truck. So everybody knows the little trucks that run around. I really wanted a K truck, and I was like, I gotta get a K truck. So I went and bought one locally, and in the process of doing that, I was talking to my importer, and he was like, you should just get one over there. And I said, okay. So I overpaid for mine, learned my lesson. I had a two-wheel drive Suzuki Carry 4-speed, which is like the least sought after because it didn't even have AC. It didn't even have a radio. It had an AM radio, which was just like a radio with a speaker inside of it. Didn't even work. So learned my lesson on that one. Imported one, which was my first import, was a Mitsubishi Bravo, which that thing was sick. It was sweet, but it came with some rear end noise, and so I was deciding, hey, I think it's time for me to sell this one. Let's get rid of it. So I sold that one, and then I started just getting a bunch of cars. And then the problem was, it's kind of like an addiction now. It's like a drug. You see one and you're like, I need the other one, I need the other one. And so what I'm doing now is kind of fulfilling my dream slash hobby by importing these cool cars, doing a couple things to them here and there. I think this is the first one that I've really done a lot of things to, and then I end up selling them and making a small profit on it. Not a crazy profit like a lot of the importers do, but enough to keep me afloat to then buy the next one. So what I tell you all this, because it's kind of just out in the open, it'll be in my first video, kind of explains who I am. So it's not necessarily just content to do with K cars or Japanese cars, but it's kind of like overall bunch of different content that I'll kind of smush together into this channel, because I think there's a lot of cool things that other people might like and they'll see. And so yeah, so in this car today, I'll be doing the radio like I said earlier, and then the lights. But let me show you the car real quick. So this is a 1999 Mitsubishi Toppo BJ. Cool headlights. It's very different than most. These did come turboed. These are only in Japan as far as I'm aware, maybe in other countries as well, but I'm only aware of it in Japan. And so I saw this and I said, this is a really cool car. It's got a lot of potential. It's two-wheel drive, so it's not four-wheel drive, but it is a 5-speed. And so if you don't know, K cars are usually faster in 5-speed than they are automatics, and a little bit more reliable in my opinion. So as you can tell, Mendy imports. So I was like, I need to spice this thing up. So if you watch Nick's video from way before the fame, you can kind of see it before it transformed to what it is. Bought these wheels off of him, put these wheels on, and then of course I have to put the plate bezel on, and then went ahead and ordered a rack off Amazon. This is super cool. I actually got this on a deal because it was one of the warehouse deals where somebody had opened it and returned it. So it's normally like 65 bucks. I got this for like 48 bucks shipped. This is a Yakima roof rack that I keep because I just throw them on all my vehicles in general, and so I kept that one, and like I said, I just throw them in my vehicles. So kind of the next plans are, we got some tires. Eventually we'll get these cleaned up, have a guy for that. That's in the works, so stay tuned for that. But we're gonna put, so it's already got LEDs, if you can tell, that little bulb right there, but then it's got nicer bulbs. They're like these blue bulbs, blue tip bulbs. We're gonna put some LEDs there instead, and then let me show you the interior. So this is the interior. You can tell 5-speed. This car's actually huge, and also it's got like a ton of different compartments. This looks like it's for cards, so maybe a gas card or an ETC reader card. Then you can put your sunglasses, your bifocals, and then you got lights. This isn't usually something you see in cars in Japan. And then you got just like storage up here, and then a ton of room. If you can tell, so I'm 6 feet tall, and like could fit probably another 5-6 inches up above me. Normally K cars, they come to like here for me, but this is super tall. And then if you come around to the back, so with the driver's seat all the way back, keep in mind I'm 6 feet tall. This is actually a comfortable car to drive for somebody that's as tall as I am. The seats, pretty cool. They fold flat. They got their first position, second, third, fourth position. So they got 4 positions, and then you get a ton of room. Again, I'm 6 feet tall. In the height position that I'm in right now, I can totally just sit here and go on a 4 or 5 hour road trip, because most of the time people are shorter than me, so when they drive they'll pull the seat up, or just swap around and sit on this seat, and it's good for driving. That's kind of crazy. Like, my arm is fully extended out. Normally I can put my hands, but this one is like not tippy toes, but tippy fingers. It's got tint, but as you can tell, they're like just like horrible. Maybe the camera doesn't pick it up, but it's all wavy, so got to get rid of those. I think I'm going to do 20% on the back, and then 35, which is the legal limit, and then that's one of the other mods. So next mod I'm going to do is going to be the radio. So let me show you how I'm going to do that, and if you ever get a Mitsubishi Toppo, you'll know what to do. Cool. So what we got here is an Toto A7. I've had this radio on my Cappuccino, and then I took it off the Cappuccino because it sold the Cappuccino, and then I put it on my Mira, on my Daihatsu Mira walkthrough, and for what it is, it's perfect. Single DIN radio with a bigger screen, and it's basically like a phone. I'll show you in a minute. Then the wiring harness for it, which it's a Mitsubishi, if you're wondering, if you ever go to do Toppo. In general, these wiring harness kind of get generalized for vehicles because they usually share all the same wiring harness. So this happens to be a Meta 70-7001, so I'll end up wiring that up, and then just got some generic LED H4 bulbs, which would be cool, much better than what's on there now. I'm going to show you how to take this wiring harness and the wiring harness from the radio and put it together. Okay, so here's the radio. It's very simple and basic. It's got knobs. I'm kind of a knob kind of person. I don't really like fully touch screens. Buttons are okay, but Very simple radio. You can see it's a single DIN, and then it fits in place, and then you have all your standard hookups. So you have your wiring harness and then some sort of Wi-Fi antenna, so you can hook up your Wi-Fi to it, I guess. An original wiring harness, and then it's also got a front camera option and then a reverse cam, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool. And then your microphone usually come with mic already built into it, so you can just, if you're close enough, it works. But anyways, enough talking. Let me show you how I wire this up and go from there. And then you could go the ghetto route where you don't use like connectors at all, you just use electrical tape, and that's fine, it'll work. But I like to go a little bit more legitly, so use these, which is just, it's got a little bit of solder, and then you heat these up, and then it's also a way to keep moisture out, because I think that's like a little wax thing that melts with it. So with this is super basic. It's basically follow the colors, and if you read each one on the wiring harness from the radio itself, it'll tell you. And just like that, we got the wiring harness all hooked up. Quick trick, like a workaround, is these, by law, these have to have some sort of lockout for you to put the parking brake on so that you don't use it while you're driving. The workaround for that is, it's just grounding it. You just ground it to the ground. You look for the one that says parking brake, and you look for the one that says ground. You ground these two together, and then I'll probably just have to make one that goes to somewhere grounded, either on the radio or underneath the radio. So that's how your harness should pretty much look like towards the end, and then it's literally plug and play to the back of the radio. So let's get in the car now and show you how to take apart the car. So for the most part, cars are pretty simple to take apart. You can usually just find a trim tool. This is a trim tool. Wedge it between back here in this crack or crevice. Get it in there and then kind of pry it. Sometimes I just remember this one's easier. Let's get rid of this. You can just pull up here, and then the whole thing kind of comes off. So then you're left with just this. And then what I just do is unplug the hazards. Let that kind of dangle there because I don't really need to do anything with it. And then in this particular car, it's just 4 screws. I'm going to undo the 4 screws, and then we can get at the radio. Just like that, the radio comes out. In this particular model, it's pretty simple. You just have the antenna wire, and then in the back of the radio, you just push on this little tab. It's hard to do one-handed. Push on this tab, and then that comes off. So in this case, we want to figure out, this is metal, so we can actually ground the what's it called, the ground wires to this. So I got to make a ground connection, and it looks like it's very simple. So we'll see. This may not have rear speakers, may only have front speakers, but they're wired up, so in the future, if the next person that wants to wire up some speakers, it can be wired up. So this particular case, the radio has supports. All you have to do is remove the radio supports from this one and then add it to this one. And because I'll be doing that, I'll just be grounding the ground to this, which will be grounding to that when we screw it into it. And so hopefully that'll allow the radio to work. If not, you and I are going to learn together. So let's get that unscrewed and then go from there. Although I will say this one will be interesting because of the fact that I have a bigger screen. So I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's find out together. Oh, there goes one screw. Let's see. Plug it in. Test fit it. Not sure how it's really going to work because, again, the fact that it has a bigger face and whatnot, we'll find out. That's how it looks. But the issue is when we go to put this on, it won't fit around it, so I have to figure out a way to make it work. Let's see if it will. Well, let's turn the car on and see if it'll even, or the grounding that I did to it will be enough. Hey, it works. So you know that works. So it works officially. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to get it to work from here into there. So yeah, let's see. Sweet. And just like that, the radio is installed. There's a little bit of play. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. With Android Auto. Hey, it works. Alright, now it works. Got Android Auto hooked up over here. Got maps, got music, got telephone, got WhatsApp. Put all the amenities that you would need. You got them working here. Hey, it sounds pretty good too. This one's pretty easy to get to. You just take that one out. This one I just have to get rid of the air box here, so I have to, looks like, remove 3 screws, move it out of the way, get to the bulb. As Nick said, we should just remove this, get rid of it, and put like a cone filter just straight up to there, so I could have a cold air intake. Well, in this case, a warm air intake, but note to self, never touch the tip of a light bulb with your oils on your skin, because then you'll damage it. There we go. Yeah. These are pretty cool bulbs. They're blue. These will be even cooler. And again, they just go a specific way. If you see, it's like a triangle shape. You go in here, set them in place. This little clip, and so eventually it'll end up like that. Then we want to take our dust cover. It's got an arrow. I'm going to put that around the bulb, and then we're going to cover that up. This is so no condensation gets back in there, and then take it and plug it in. We cover this up with the shadow. So it's got more of a yellow hue to it, and this one's just pure, kind of like white. Oh, you can kind of tell the difference. Show you a little trick with this. These don't want to pop out because they just keep twisting. If you get a pick under here, well, you get the idea. It'll come off. I'll show you. Sometimes you just need 2 hands to do the job. Pull that guy off. Pull this guy off. This piece removes. I got that out of the way. Filter looks like. It's not bad. Could be worse. It'll do. Especially if I'm going to put a cold air intake on it. Get that guy to fill. And then the same thing. Just remove this harness and then take the bulb out. And just like that, it's removed. Do the same thing. We'll put this LED on in place. This, you can get a better idea on how it works. See, it's a triangular shape. You got, you move this out of the way, you got this point, and this top point, so you can fit your bulb. So as I said earlier, this just has to go around the actual physical bulb. and that's what allows it to cover it so moisture doesn't get in there. Put that back together. And just like that. Put it all back together. Get it plugged in. Oh, it was a dodo head. They were on the entire time. Now you can see it's a whole lot more white. Same way it came out, same way it goes back in. Gotta get this bolt on. We got this one on. Falls into place. Little zip zip. And just like that, the car's worth $2,000 more. With a nice radio, a nice set of headlights, some rims and tires, a roof rack, a basket. So what do you think? Should I make it the ultimate non-off-road but camping vehicle and put an awning on it? Wouldn't that be so cool? Roll up with a JDM car, right-hand drive, two-wheel drive to a campsite and just camp. And you got yourself an awning there. I think I'd be too big for this, but this would be cool. Make down a fold-down kitchen here. Then you got yourself a kitchen to cook your stuff in. Or over here. This would be the ultimate, like, live out of vehicle. Because put this seat down, pull that seat forward. Let's take a look. Whoa. Make a platform that goes all the way from there, from the back to the front. You can totally live in this thing. Totally. If you really wanted to. Van life. Let me stop though. Sometimes these Japanese vehicles are already set up. No way. Ain't no way. Alright, hold on. I'm sitting here joking. Nah, there's no way I can do this. Check this out. Sitting back, relaxing in my sleeping car right here. I'm 6 feet tall, so somebody who's probably like 5'6", 5'5" could live in this car easily. If I had to sleep in this car overnight and I had no choice, I'd totally do it. Alright, I laid the seat down. It's my feet all the way over here. That's me laying down right now. Sun's in my face. And I still got headroom. You could totally build a platform in this and sleep in this if you needed to. No way. Well, you're welcome. If anybody wants to buy it, it's for sale. $6,000. It's yours. You can have your overlanding vehicle. Quick visit to Lowe's. Got some 4 screws. Fortunately, they're not the same size that I needed, because hardware stores never have metric sizes. So that's the bolt I needed, and that's the one I got to replace it. Hopefully it works. Made it here to Lowe's. Head back home, put that awning on, open it up. Hopefully it works. Curious to know how this thing drives. It drives pretty awesome. You're not going to win any races. It is a K car, so it's nothing crazy like that, but it's pretty zippy for what it is. It's very zippy, considering it's got freaking basket on the top. On windy days you probably won't go as fast as like calmer days. It's still so cool that you can just hit all those buttons and the windows automatically will go up and down by themselves. So you can see the bolts I got will fit into this rail, and then we'll be able to bolt this up from there with this plate. like that, and then it'll bolt up nicely. So I'm good to it. All right, there you have it. The awning is on. It's bolted up. It's not going anywhere. And now you got the ultimate over-under landing, smooth landing. You got a really cool car that you can take camping now. Fill the back up with your junk, or even the roof rack with a couple of bins. Take your kids out camping for the weekend and you're set. If you want it, it's for sale. It's available. $6,000 or best offer. If I don't get $6,000, you'll get stock wheels. Take the roof rack off, or the basket and the awning. But yeah, if you're interested, let me know. Work something out. Or I'm open to trades too. What do you have available? But this is cool. Alright, so I came to get the final footage of the car in its prime, and check this out. This is so cool. So I pulled the awning out because I finally figured out how to do it. I guess it has some cross arms here to help it extend. Well, what more can you ask for one of the cheapest camping rigs or camping mobiles ever? And just check this out. This is insane. Buy this from me and go camping with it. Look at this. You got your awning. You have your area to cook or do whatever it is that you need to do. Plenty of ample seating. Now, I'm not just making this video to promote the car for you to buy it, but I'm more just making this video to show that you can buy a car in Japan that's kind of a whatever car, kind of neglected, nobody really cares, and you can add some tasteful mods to it, some wheels, some tires, a roof rack, a basket, an awning, a radio, and some LEDs, and it completely transforms the car. So I guess you could say this is my budget camper build, my city budget camper build, I guess you could say. So if you roll up to any campsite with this thing, people will go nuts for it. I'll set you down so I can put this thing away. You'll see how quickly it gets put away in seconds. That's it. And there's your awning. It's put away. It's done. That was what, like maybe a minute, 45 seconds. Throw your stuff in the car. Turn the car on. Throw your maps to go home. And you're ready to go home from camping. See you later. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna end the video here. Kind of got a glimpse of what I do now. So hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos. The real test will come how the edit of this video comes out, and we'll see how many people actually view. It doesn't really matter. I'm not in it for the views, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to help other people that might have questions about like getting a car in Japan, or the imports, or just generalized things like I do. I use YouTube myself just to go and look and see how to do certain things, and I haven't been able to find a ton of videos on how to do like the import business and whatnot. I've learned a lot through a lot of trial and error, and then I guess you could say from people helping me along the way and whatnot. So it's cool. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not really sure what's going to come of this, but whatever comes of it, I guess we'll be good. Until the next video.